We're here practicing On-Leash Recall with Sadie, and you don't see it, but I have the long lead on, and it's on the side. What I'm starting off with is just engagement, so her giving me a focus, even though the food is in front of my eyes, and then I mark it with good, or yes, or get it, or free. If she makes a mistake, then I do a no.
Sadie, come.
Simple exercises to make sure the dog stays with me, and later on I will use a little bit of the leash pressure if necessary. But if your dog is engaged, they'll most likely stay with you, which is why it's really important to have your dog food motivated, and not just at the home but in every environment. What I like doing is called name games. Name game is the get it marker. As soon as your dog eats the food, then you call them back with their name. And as soon as they turn their body and are running towards you, that's when you can mark with yes. This is not a full recall, but this is getting your dog into the full recall. In my eyes, the full recall is coming to you, going into a sit, focusing on you, and then you can reward them with, in this instance, a catch, a free. It could be anything that is a reward for them, but you don't want to reward too late or too soon. So there's a specific time that you should reward, and if you want to delay the reward, then you use the good marker so that they know the reward is actually on its way. So here I have her on a free. We're just having a good time. I'm riling her up. I stepped on the leash because she wanted to go somewhere else, and I'm like, where are you going? You're with me. And so this is how engaged you should be with your dog. This is why I always recommend kind of not separating them from the real world, but in a way just creating this bond that when you do take them into the real world, they find you a lot more appealing. And so I want you to watch. She's gotten a little good at reading when I'm going to do the free. So you see how I'm putting my hand next to her, and she's anticipating me giving her the free. And sometimes I just reward her with the good while she's on there. We're going to see right here. I have her on the sit, and then I'm going to pretend, and she's already anticipating. And then I mark with yes there. Okay, so I want you guys to be aware of those behaviors, because if you are letting your dog anticipate your movement, then we might need to work on certain things just to cool them off. It's a lot of impulse control, and I know how she is. And if we just let it slide 3 times, she's going to get all wiggly. So we're going back to the get it markers. Get it, yes, get it, yes. And it's mainly having her practice going and coming back, especially when you speak. Now we're going to do more of a recall. Notice how I called her, and then I'm doing some kissy noises. This time it was a let's go. So I said let's go, and she came to my left side, and I reward her and start walking on the let's go. This is no leash because I know I've done the work with her, but if you need to use the leash to guide her, then by all means do it. Don't just expect your dogs to read your mind. If they are confused, then it's your job to make them less confused. So there we go with the get it. And then I say get it again. This is getting that dopamine rush, and then I do a recall. Notice how I said good. She's staying there until I give her another command, like a down. Here I'm giving her a catch. So you get all the puzzle pieces that I've taught her, and you just piece them together. Make it quick, make it fun, make it very,
And
very
now we're gonna practice
firm on your expectation
Careful,
of
girl.
what it is that you want from her.
That's high.
So we're gonna move on to actual recall. So we don't really need to do too many steps away from our dog. We can do just 3 to 5 steps. Recall. Notice how I use the leash pressure to guide her into that sit, and then I mark it and reward her. So here I just do a little side,
Sadie, come.
and I do the recall to me like that. She just needs to get used to, oh, when they say come, it is come directly in front of this person and sit and face them. They should keep the focus even though they aren't working as much. They're technically supposed to just wait for your command. If you let them get off of the sit on their own, they took lead. Do not let them take lead, and do not let them kind of turn when they're coming to you. This is something that Sadie does. She kind of like comes to you and turns her body to the side and then faces you with her head tilted. That's not how we want the recall. Even though it's cute, it needs to be fully face forward, looking at you. And notice how I have my hand in front, so she knows that that's the focal point for the recall. That's where she should be staring. That's where she will eventually leave the reward, come to our eyes, because she understands that we control the actual food. Do a little bit more engagement, give a little free with the break, give some love because they're doing amazing, and then you go back to it in a couple seconds. All right, look at that tail. She's like, okay, now what? What are we doing? And if I start moving, she's gonna follow me. Right? So I send her away with the get it. I do a recall. And this time I'm trying to see if she knows it, and I say, Sadie, come. No hands. She's trying to figure it out. And she figured it out, and then I reward right there. But put your expectations high for your dog right now. I want you guys to break it down slowly, 3 to 5 feet with the leash, so she doesn't find a way to get a loophole. And then she's gonna start understanding that that's the best thing to do. Notice how she's laying down, and she sat but sideways. I didn't like that, or at least it's not what I asked for, and that's when I reward. Okay, so if you need to do it again 2 to 3 times, then do it. Just don't reward her for the times she didn't fully reach the command. It's pretty interesting once you start seeing it with your dog, but I do hope that this helps with the recall. We do need a good foundation with the markers. You do need a good foundation with hand feeding. Your dog should be engaged. You can practice this inside the home and then practice this outside the home. And eventually your dog will see you as the most important thing out there. And it's up to you to reinforce the behavior. If you don't trust them off leash, then don't let them be off leash. Get a long lead just in case you need to hold them. And then slowly you can practice the e-collar work, which you'll see in the next video, how I transition all of this work into the e-collar. And that's usually all there is. But right here, you can see she's trying to do this cute little down when I said, no, this is the down that I want. So I stopped rewarding her in the down where she's floppy. I only rewarded her when she was on the down, when she was belly down. And here I'm trying to rile her up, see what she does. She used to be a very big jumper. Now she isn't. So I'm trying to cap her excitement level. And what she should do is decide to be on the floor, or all 4 paws on the floor. And I ended with scatter feeding, and boom, what a great session.